Chelsea, thanks so much for joining me today to talk about this issue with video exclusions. Before we get into what went wrong and how you discovered it, tell me a little bit about yourself and the work that you do so that people know who's speaking to them.
I founded an agency. We're named Leadocity. We specialize, or I've been specializing in Google Ads since 2004. And right now, we primarily work with agencies offering consulting and services to help them deliver results to their clients within 30 days. We have our own book of clients as well, but that's kind of what we've been transitioning to.
A few months ago, you discovered an issue in one of your Google Ads accounts. Tell me a little bit about what happened, how you discovered it, and what went wrong.
We do a significant amount of lead gen. We do a lot on YouTube as well, primarily for high ticket offline sales. And so we've been running lots of YouTube. We were testing out optimized targeting and got really good results. It helped us scale at a great cost per conversion. And then just in a routine audit for our demographics exclusions, we found that we were serving to our excluded demographics. So because it's high ticket, for this particular client, we exclude 18 to 24-year-olds because they're just not at that level yet to invest. And so yeah, we saw that we were serving on these excluded demographics. So I pursued an ad spend credit initially, and that's when I found out that oh no, with optimized targeting, we have Google came back and said that they have what's called demographics expansion. And so if they can find conversions beyond your exclusions, that they will serve there.
Yeah, that sounds like a pretty nasty surprise for any account manager to run into. How did you know that it was limited to video? Was Google pretty clear about that?
They were clear about that. I'm trying to remember actually. Um, so essentially, what happened was once we found out that there was going to be no refund, number one, and number two, that there was no fix for it at that time. We were trying to find a solution how to essentially turn off optimized targeting or just eat that wasted spend on those demographics that we didn't want. And it's not just wasted spend, it's also wasted time on the client's end who has to like deal with these leads that they don't want, right? So we're trying to find solutions to that. And then in the meantime, I saw that some of our discovery campaigns were also running with optimized targeting and they were not serving to these excluded demographics. So I brought up that inconsistency, and then that's when we found out that there was actually a solution to turn that off. But yes, it is limited to video action campaigns, as far as I'm aware.
I know you have a solution now, but in the immediate aftermath, what did damage control look like other than raising an issue with Google?
Well, we were really trying to strategize as far as turning off optimized targeting. What does the impact on profitability look like if we continue running this? But we have the scale with optimized targeting, but it became an added issue with similar audiences going away because you were really reliant on optimized targeting at that point. Once those targeting go away, at least for our similar audience campaigns, and so my solution was really just to reach out and help get the word out to other advertisers, and then hopefully, um, you know, uh, start some type of concern that then could be relayed to Google to say, hey, we don't want this. So that's when I reached out to Optimizer. We're a loyal user of Optimizer, and I know that you guys have great reach and great connections as well. So that was on my agenda.
You do have a fix for it now. So what does that look like? How are you making sure that this doesn't happen again?
So there actually is a beta to be whitelisted to turn off the demographics expansion. Excuse me. So essentially, what you have to do is reach out to your dedicated Google rep, and then they can apply for that beta so that they can turn that off. And that's exactly what we did. It was turned off almost immediately, and so now it's not an issue. Thank goodness.
Do you have any kind of monitoring set up now to make sure that this doesn't happen again? Because I think you've been burned once. There's no reason to think that it couldn't possibly happen again.
Yeah, so we do routine audits just to ensure that, like, all of our demographics exclusions are across all of our campaigns, and so we're really just maintaining that. But yeah, for the most part, we haven't seen any issues at all. So I would say that, with new campaign types, it'd be good to continuously check those early and often. Um, and then also, we didn't know for sure if it was limited to demographics because that's the only visible data that you have. Like if they were expanding audiences past our audience exclusions, we had no idea because you can't report on that. And so yeah, so just checking for demographics exclusions, especially with launching new campaign types early and often, is a good idea.
Well, it sounds like you had some systems in place to catch this issue. It wasn't as bad as it could have been. I hope you don't mind me saying, but it's disappointing that the only way to fix issues like this is through a Google Ads rep, and that the advertiser or the account manager can't do it themselves. We've seen that happen with Performance Max negative keywords. We see it happen with a bunch of other things. Do you have any thoughts or opinions on why that might be happening and why people like you don't have as much control as you used to?
It's really unfortunate. I would say even like for us, we're a premier partner, and even we can be limited sometimes with clients. It's really unfortunate, and so they tend to pick and choose what clients that they'll offer that additional support to. But if you do have connections to someone or an agency that has a dedicated Google rep, I've usually been very successful at getting help on clients that might not have that service for that CID individually. But it's super unfortunate. Yeah, so I would say that the best thing to do is just to have regular audits, make sure that you're checking for things that could go awry. I always like to look at advanced settings options as well, to see what control I do have. But but yeah, I would say that it's really having a good connection, having good connections is really the best way to defend against that. I don't know of any other way.
Yeah, it sounds like you also did the next best thing any advertiser or account manager could possibly do, which is make sure you had a process in place to periodically look at these things and make sure that you were catching them as early as possible. I think now with us having fewer hands-on moments with the actual buttons and the levers during campaign operation, we do have to focus more on what's on the periphery, right? So along with creative and product feed, making sure that we have eyes on the system, and if something does go wrong, then we can jump in and find whatever solution we possibly can find the way that you did.
Yeah, and at the very least, you do always have access to the support reps, right? So through the chat support or trying to call in. So at least there's that as well. And but yeah, absolutely, just having that awareness, but also that knowledge that you need to be aware is becoming more and more important. Just to audit everything that's going on.
Chelsea, thank you so much for joining me today and sharing your story and also the solution that you found. If anybody else has had an issue with video exclusions, or if you've encountered another issue where something happened in your Google Ads account that wasn't supposed to perform a certain way, let us know in the comments. We'd love to hear about it. If you have a solution for it, we would love to hear about that as well, and tell more of these stories. Chelsea, thank you so much for joining me today.